What are we here to talk about today, Paige? Well, there's a lot to update you all on, and it depends on sort of where you're at in the story arc and how much that you know me. So I will keep it brief. I have about 9 minutes left before I have to report for dinner with two really deserving octogenarians who are making all of this possible for me. So my parents, Chuck and Keitha Lockton, are both cancer healers, and my dad beat bladder cancer with a treatment that very ironically he helped to eradicate in Canada. So I'll give you 3 guesses how they treat bladder cancer. Ready? Yeah. Bovine tuberculosis injected in the bladder. So my dad's a retired veterinarian. He took a job with the government because he liked to give his services away for free mostly. And he developed amazing disease control protocols for rabies and tuberculosis, and he eradicated diseases in Canada, or his team did. He led a team that did. And years later, they were injecting it into his bladder to eat away at the cancer because bladders apparently can contain the TB and are impermeable to it. So you can pee it out. Do take care to use some Javex, though. You do have cows on the property, right? Yes, we had cows on the property. It's wild. He beat cancer. My mom is 82. She just had inoperable lung cancer. She just turned 83, actually. When you're 82 and somebody says inoperable lung cancer, chemo, and 30 rounds of radiation, you think that is insane. And it was very hard to witness. I had to leave for part of it. I was going through my own cancer treatment because at the same time I found, through a near fatal kick in the guts, that went undiagnosed in early stages, like the first 6-7 hours, untreated, largely sitting up and vomiting. I would like some sympathy, thank you. It's still alive. Ruptured spleen, fractured ribs, punctured lung, bleeding internally, crashing. And they found something they didn't like the look of when they started looking for other injuries, and they did MRIs. So 2 days later, obviously I survived. A big mystery. I was pretty sorry for myself. And shuffling down the hallway, because do you know the day you recover from getting kicked in the guts with all of those injuries I've described, and they've operated to remove your shattered spleen. Yeah, I forgot that one. I had a shattered spleen. I had to take it out because there was not much of it left. It's kind of the last words before I lost consciousness were, "Oh my God, her abdomen is full of coagulated blood." And the next day they get you got to walk down the hallway. So I'm going down the hallway with my stuff and my gown and my tubes and my bells and my whistles and shuffle, 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 shuffle. Yeah, I'm wearing bells on my feet. Down the hallway to the end of the hallway. Then when I get down there, I cry. I'd try to move, see if I could move. My muscles were all guarding, you know. Then I'd shuffle, 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 and I'd do however many laps I was supposed to do that day, however many times. And I came in on the second day and said they were escorting me down, or maybe the first day, for a PET scan. Oh, whatever. It was just like, on the full program, like, where's my pain control? And I was cut open pretty good. That's maybe not, yeah, it's pretty good. There are pictures coming in, yeah, an art show. That one, you can see those scars in an art show. And the day before my birthday, they came in to say, okay, so, you know, you can go as soon as, and there were parameters. This is about 3 days in, and You have to be able to get off of any medicine delivered by IV and survive without it pain-wise. I'm trying to figure out some sort of management program so I can sleep through the night. And okay. And you have to be able to ingest and pass food through you successfully. And I was like, okay. And then I could go home. And they said, and we're going to send you into the cancer care. Who's your oncologist? And I was like, bit of a funny story. I don't remember her name. It's the one that took over for the old guy that didn't want, he was done. By the time he had me as a client, he was like, oh my God, it is pouring cancer on my head. I'm 76 years old. I just want to stop. And when he retired, someone took over that didn't communicate particularly well. And they had one objective, and that was to put me on something that made me feel terrible so I would live longer. And I kept saying, okay, I don't feel like I want to live anymore. So if that's your only answer, I could go off of it and be really super stoked to be here. And she just had one answer for me. I fired her. Finally told her secretary, we are breaking up, and don't call me, I'll call you. I know I'll monitor my health. I will change so many other factors that you can't measure with your programs and your statistics that say that I should take this treatment and feel this terrible so that I can live 5 to 10 years. Like, come on. So they found metastatic breast cancer in the spine. I said, that's ridiculous. Obviously, it's not cancer. You guys are just doctors and you have these machines. You don't know anything. So I went home for the weekend and told my friends I had to go back on Monday to meet with the oncologist. And my friends, Kate and Mireille, were there for me. That's who you want in a bar fight or a... And they came to my meeting, and I was explaining to the doctor that they were wrong because I found out I had been saying, as far as I knew, that I was so lucky when I was kicked by this horse. I was thrown from nearly the center line right to and beside the kickboards where I came to rest on the ground. And thankfully I didn't collide with, or I'd have been just totally broken. And Mireille set me straight. She said, oh gosh, God's no, Paige. I will never in my lifetime forget the sound of your body hitting the boards. I went, oh, that's what that sound was. Oh, I heard something, and then I was doing the old, I'm okay. I'm like, look, I'm all, and I kept collapsing. I'm okay. I don't think anything's broke. And because everything was in line, I couldn't find a line of fracture. And I didn't detect the pneumothorax, which is interesting because I'm trained to, which is a leaky lung. I just went into shock. And Kate's like, hold C-spine. So anyway, here we are the Monday afterwards, and I'm telling the doctors how I was wrong. I did hit the rails. What you're seeing is a hot spot due to an injury, I told the professionals. And they said, no, this is how cancer behaves, Paige. And I said, well, how do you prove to me that's cancer? You've got one picture of it. Like they said, we can't biopsy it without really risking some terrible things for you. So I said, do some more tests. And you prove to me that I should do what you say I should do, which I promise to never do to myself again. I do not want to poison myself well. Do not believe in that model. And yet, they poisoned my mom well, and she kicked lung cancer, inoperable lung cancer at 82. It was torture. It was hell. I didn't think she'd make it to Christmas. She got down to 86 pounds of vile spite for the system that was poisoning her, and she lived. And she has no evidence of disease. Meantime, spots are coming back on my spine, and they want to nuke them because that's what they have, right? I've got a radiologist. She has a radiation gun. For this kind of treatment, what they like to do is called stereotactic body radiation. They want to turn it up to 11, get super duper extra specially accurate, and just do it 2 times, just twice. Practice once. You get a dry run for this kind of one. Practice really being still. Even if your nose itches and your hands are above your head and they go numb. And they zap the fuck out of it. It takes some balls, gotta tell you. Some kahunas. So I went under the gun in May, and I didn't stop running until Christmas, basically. It's successful. The one that they found on T5, they nuked with stereotactic body radiation, and just it's lying dormant going, oh, that's, yeah, I had some plans, but apparently now there's some other spots. So there's some other plans. I have tried a new drug program, which I'm tolerating enough to stay on, which has statistically good results. But I'm also here to tell you that there's something real called the placebo effect. That means that if I don't believe in it, it won't work. And if I do believe in it, it will work, right? Like, it's just, the percentages are so high. So when you start to research so many cancer treatments and options and things that can improve your health and your immunity and reduce chance of disease, there are some common threads that I've been looking to. And it's interesting because someone can say, ivermectin cured me, right? Well, it did. Good for you. But for someone else, it'll be something else. If they really believe in it and they take it and they do whatever else they're supposed to do, it'll fucking work. Because that's how things work. It's a huge effect on things. So I've been highly resistant to, I've been raised by someone who used to come in every day shaking his head. My dad was a doctor of veterinary medicine who grew up on a ranch without a father and was in charge of the well-being of all the ranch animals from 10 years old with no money for a vet. He knew practical work, he knew veterinary work, and he melded these things. And now I'm probably getting called in for dinner time. Yes. So I'm going to bid you adieu from my storytelling tonight. All of this is coming together now as I look down the barrel of a gun and I re-examine what is important in life. I've got spots growing on my spine. We are finding access to tools for healing has been difficult on ODSP and starting out a business and changing how I do business and the services that I provide. And it's all coming down the barrel of the gun, the barrel of the cancer gun. What am I going to do for the next year of my life? Hold my beer. I have to go to dinner.